In 1957, conservationists met in the Everglades to discuss the demise of coral reef resources for a conference that would spark discussion about creating an underwater park. Soon after, the John Pennekamp Coral Reef State Park was designated and became the first undersea park in the United States. John Pennekamp Coral Reef State Park was followed by the Key Largo National Marine Sanctuary in December of 1975. Throughout the 1980s, a series of declines in the Florida Keys coral reef ecosystem occurred, including algal blooms in the Florida Bay, sponge die-offs, and losses in living coral cover and seagrass die-offs. These threats, combined with several large vessel groundings, prompted Congress to act. On October 24, 1989, Representative Dante Fasquelle introduced the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary and Protection Act. The act designates a specified area in Florida as the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary under the Marine Protection, Research, and Sanctuaries Act of 1972. It provides that no leasing, exploration, development, or production of minerals or hydrocarbons shall be permitted within the sanctuary. Required the Secretary of Commerce to develop a comprehensive management plan and implement regulations. This new sanctuary incorporated the pre-existing Key Largo and Lew Key sanctuaries to protect 2,800 square nautical miles of Florida Keys waters. It is administered by NOAA and jointly managed with the state of Florida. A set of public scoping meetings followed by a series of workshops collected input from federal, state, and local interests holding knowledge of sanctuary problems. These meetings, workshops, and extensive public input laid the foundation for the sanctuary management plan that was ultimately implemented in July of 1997. In January 2009, the first lionfish was officially recorded in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary at Benwood Ledge off Key Largo, prompting an aggressive awareness campaign encouraging the public to report and remove lionfish.
Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary has many direct threats, including boating, overfishing, water pollution, urban development, global climate change, and species introduction. One of the biggest threats we are going to focus on is the introduction of lionfish to the Atlantic Ocean. Numerous amounts of lionfish have been discovered in Atlantic waters, and they are becoming a huge problem in the sanctuary. They are originally from the Indo-Pacific region and were introduced to the Atlantic from North Carolina to Florida and from the Bahamas to the Caribbean. Let's go over some quick facts about lionfish. Lionfish are a very beautiful ornamental species, but the impact they are having on the native ecosystem is not so pretty. Lionfish are venomous, spiny fish that do not have many predators. They can grow up to about 16 inches in size, which is fairly large. They also consume over 50 different types of fish species and invertebrates, even if they are twice their size. Lionfish have very fast growth and reproductive rates. They reach full sexual maturity in less than a year, and one single female will spawn over 2 million eggs in 1 year. These eggs are extremely buoyant, which allows them to travel great distances very easily. Once they reach full maturity, they typically live for about 15 years. This invasive species is proving to be very difficult to remove from the Atlantic Ocean. Lionfish are a large threat to the Florida Keys because they are outcompeting many of the native marine species for food and space, not to mention they are eating most of these species as well. This fish is becoming extremely detrimental to the ecosystem as it is taking over all of the waters. Imagine if the Florida Keys waters were only inhabited by lionfish because they destroyed the biodiversity in the area. That is one scary thought, but we are coming closer to that reality every single day. This direct threat began as an indirect threat, as it is assumed that someone released their pet lionfish into the ocean. This could have happened many years ago because the first lionfish was found in the Atlantic Ocean in January 2009. This careless action from the past has turned into a huge and growing problem today.
Our case in the Florida Keys are community involvement, management zoning, and research and monitoring of action plans. First, effective community education will help reduce the threat to the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, in combination with protected areas being managed as part of a community effort to achieve conservation outcomes. Local divers are being encouraged to remove as many lionfish as possible. The sanctuary recently co-hosted a series of lionfish roundups with the Reef Environmental Education Foundation, offering cash prizes for divers bringing in the biggest catches. Second is creating management zones. Zones protecting sensitive natural resources from overuse, separate conflicting uses, and preserve the diversity of marine life in an area. Examples of management zones include oil drilling and hard mineral mining banned, prohibiting the dumping of exotic species, also the Water Quality Protection Program. Third is sanctuary science management plans. The growth in invasive wildlife and shifting baseline syndrome is contributing to a need for a research and monitoring action plan. In the 2007 updated management plan by the U.S. Department of Commerce, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, National Ocean Service, and National Marine Sanctuary programs call for research and monitoring of watersheds, fisheries, artificial reefs, marine zones, and socioeconomics. Marine sanctuaries are very diverse, making it very difficult for them to fit into just one IUCN category. Florida Keys Marine Sanctuary is sectioned into many zones, and each zone fits into a different IUCN category. The most prominent category is Category 5.